Okay, we're going to start the bronze medal match, and on my left I have Corrine Carr and Simone Jardim. And on my right I have Parenteau and Jessie Irvine. All right, good luck, ladies. Time is in, score is 0-0-2.
Welcome back to Live. Welcome back to Live at Nationals. I'm your host, Mark Renison. You're looking at championship court here, and this is a bronze medal match. On the left side of your screen, you're seeing Parenteau in the blue and white. We saw her earlier here on championship court alongside her partner, Jessie Irvine, in the special guest. What color do you think? What would you call that, Jessie Irvine's?
Paddle?
No, her outfit.
Oh, her outfit.
Peach? Sunset?
I'm thinking like a salmon. A little bit, maybe.
Salmon. All right. Jessie Salmon Irvine out there with a nice third shot drop to the backhand of one of her two opponents. The near side of your screen on the right, you'll see Corrine Carr. And that's Corrine there with the two-handed backhand followed up. Oh. There we go, really being attacked early on. Her partner, Simone Jardim, also almost salmon-colored.
A little bit brighter,
more
but close, yeah.
Salmon. It's a
little neonish.
Yeah. Our special guest, of course, is none other than Sarah Ansbury. She's been here earlier in the booth, and Sarah, I'm really pleased to have you back here for this women's doubles pro match.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Should be a good match in front of us. I like seeing, Catherine and Jessie. It's their second tournament together. It's so nice to see some new teens out here and some great lineups this last 2 days in the women's doubles.
Sarah, one of the things I'm looking forward to having you with us here in the booth is someone who plays at the highest level here on this women's pro circuit, is a little bit of insight on what kinds of tactics these teams might be using. You can't come out here and just hope that your skills are going to do the job. There's got to be a clear, decisive game plan, and you better hope that
it's got to be very well thought out. There's a lot of communication prior to each match. Each team has got a different set of problems, basically. So, I think we all play each other quite a bit, which is great, but at the same time, that means we know each other's game very, very well. And so, and you see, there's no stranger in competing against each other here. So, I'd say the newest person on the court is going to be Jessie Irvine, but, Catherine's no stranger to playing Simone and Corrine quite often. So, it'll be interesting to see how well they'll defend against each other's, tactics, what their bests are, and the lineups. What I'm curious to see is, you see Corrine right there is on the left-hand side of the court. I am curious to see if she's going to stay there or if they are going to switch up their stack quite a bit. And you could see what I'm looking at a little bit is I think Corrine and Jessie want to be cross-court with each other right now.
we've seen earlier in this tournament where very often one of the players, we've seen this both on the men's side and the women's side, it's not unusual to see one of them really standing pretty much at the extreme of the court, often with one of their feet actually outside of the sideline. In this case, you're going to see that from Corrine, and what that means would be that if that ball does get hit hard at her, the only way that she'll have to play it is if it's on her forehand. And so that's the problem that Irvine and Parenteau have to face. If they're going to speed things up against Corrine, they're going right to that forehand, and she knows how to counterattack off that side.
Well, what's great about Jessie and Corrine is they're both phenomenal cross-court, dinkers, and I think, Corrine is so consistent when she's able to do that. And with her being able to wrap around that outside of the corner, you're seeing that a lot this week. I know I did that a lot this week, being able to really put pressure on that space, giving your opponent a smaller space to aim at and say, hey, you got to hit it right to me or you got to pass me, but make a decision. You're really making them choose their shots.
You mentioned a moment ago, Sarah, that you thought Corrine and Jessie would want to set up diagonally from each other. Tell us a little bit about why that might be. Why
Well, you see a lot of our switching and stacking. A lot of times people think that we always stack in the same position, but that's not necessarily true. Sometimes it's, someone feels more confident being down the line with somebody if they're tending to be isolated a little bit more, or they want to be cross court with them. And I get that. When we were playing yesterday, usually we set up in that position, but we put Regina cross court with Jessie as well, the same way that Corrine and Simone are setting up. And so it'll be really interesting because you do usually see Corrine on the right side of the court, but it's a little change up of the stacking, which will keep making the player ask questions. What should we do next? And keep challenging their position.
Right now, Jardim and Carr, Irvine and Parenteau, they're locked in a tie here in this first game. Right now, Jessie, that's the second time we've seen her get hit today, and
it looks like what Catherine's trying to do is, and it's a smart decision, Catherine's trying to move the ball to the other side of the court, but that one just floated a little bit too high, and Simone really likes that forehand in the air, the redirection right at the body. So if Catherine is going to go move that ball to that side of the court, she's got to get a little bit wider, and she's got to get a lot lower. Yeah, so, Catherine's looking for that one. She's up tall. She's looking for Corrine to take that forehand right at her body. And this is something that you'll see quite a bit in those cross-court exchanges. The people that are not getting the ball, that are trying to insert themselves, they're looking to be attacked down the line. And so both Corrine and Jessie are looking to exchange that in a down-the-line attack, change up the pace a little bit. You can see how close Catherine and Simone are in that middle, trying to, bring that ball to them and squeeze that space a little bit more, giving Jessie and Corrine less room to aim at. You see how low Corrine is getting under that ball. She puts a lot of cut under that ball, nice slice, and it's pretty amazing how low we get out there sometimes. I forget watching it.
one of the reasons it's so important for players at this level to be in such great shape. All the lunging that goes on, all the squats we saw.
Yeah.
Lindsay Newman yesterday, we called it a perma squat.
Yeah.
When she was getting ready to defend against fastballs, sort of setting up almost like a linebacker in football might. Really strong defensive position, ready. She knew what was coming at her, and she was just really preparing for the worst.
Well, what'll be interesting too is to see, the difference in when you get attacked. Are you going to defend against it? Are you going to kind of reset it, or are you going to counterattack? And that's a lot dependent on that position, what you're looking for on that ball. And you could see, like, what people don't realize also is how low and how much spin some of these dinks have on them. And so those are more difficult to get under than most people see until you see that ball in front of you. I mean, really getting low, but you can see Catherine's doing such a good job at coming under and finishing up high as well, which I really, really like, because she's looking just like that. That's what Catherine's looking for, which maybe not exactly hit her in the head.
Simone gets a topspin forehand off the beak there. Looks like that ball would have landed out, but with the speed coming off that Parenteau forehand, also the disguise, Simone not able to get it out of the way, but she looks no worse for wear.
Yeah.
She looks okay.
Oh, see that a lot out here.
No problem.
4-3-2.
If you are watching on Facebook, be sure to hit that like button. That way you'll know when we're coming live. And if you share with your friends, that way they can get in on the fun too. If you're watching on YouTube, just push that little subscribe button, that red one, and you'll see all the action here live at Nationals here in Indian Wells, California.
You see kind of not a normal miss from Corrine, a little unforced error right there, trying to redirect that ball. Laughing it off a little bit, which is good. Early in the match still, so we can make those mistakes. There's that step around again from Corrine.
If you're just joining us, this is Mark Renison and Sarah Ansbury live at Nationals. You're watching a bronze medal match here. We see Jessie Irvine put away that high forehand volley. And Sarah, it's not just the speed with which you hit those high balls, it's also the angle.
Absolutely. I think especially with how soft this ball is, it's very, very warm right now. And, when you're getting that high ball, everyone out here is so good at defending from the baseline and resetting that ball. So you really have to redirect that ball to the outside of the court if you can, and just get done with that point.
4-4 here in game number one. Even though this is on the loser's side of the draw, this is still going to be a match to best 2 out of 3.
Yep. I would be surprised if we were out here for a while. And especially if it keeps going like this, a lot of, both teams are really trying to stay in that slow game, which is very, very smart. I don't think either team really wants to get in the power battle right now, at least not at this moment. And you see now that the lineup's changed a little bit. Now you have Corrine and Catherine right in front of each other. So this is what I do really like to see now in pickleball is our lineups are changing. It's not always the same setup where one person stays on the right, one person stays on the left. We're switching that stacking quite a bit, which changes when you have teams that play each other so much. When we, when you know the strengths and weaknesses so well, sometimes changing that lineup is extremely important to give some variety into the court.
And as the cat and mouse aspect that so many people love about the sport of pickleball.
Absolutely.
Right now we've got Irvine and Parenteau. They're out into a lead here, 5-4-2, continuing to work. Corrine, Carr on that cross court. Every once in a while you'll see them go down the line at Simone. There it is again. Yeah. Simone has to dodge it. It's called out. Parenteau's going to check.
I looked a little long. Yeah,
referee agrees. Catherine's looking around for some help out there, but I think at this point no one's coming to her rescue.
I don't think so. We don't have line judges out here right now. So.
We've seen in the bronze medal matches that's typically been the case. It's the golds that things have changed.
Okay. It is, and that's definitely tough. I know that all of us really, it makes life a lot easier. You don't have to worry about those calls. You have some secondary help. Look at that. Catherine's turning around. She's using that to pump her energy up. And that's, you really love to see the fire between Catherine and Jessie. Once they get pumped up, I wouldn't be surprised if Simone and Corrine would call a timeout just to change the momentum. Once Catherine's on fire, a little miscommunication.
There we go. That might be a good reason to call a timeout there, is make sure that Irvine and Parenteau, you saw Jessie said, hey, my hand's open, Catherine. Remember, we call open hand means switch. I don't know how you guys do it in Canada. But of course, players can make whatever signals they want. The standard, Sarah, as you see the open hand from Parenteau, the standard is the open hand means you're going to switch after the return, and a closed fist means you're going to stay at home.
Yeah, and this, I get a lot of questions about this. Why do we switch that way? And the main reason, too, is because, one, it's a tennis habit. A lot of us come from tennis, and that is one way we switch on the tennis court. But when you are changing your stacking, and you don't really necessarily want them to know where you're going to be, this is a good way to switch.
Could it also be the result of, as you're setting up, getting ready to return serve, you sort of read what your opponents do? And it's sort of like in football, you'll see sometimes quarterbacks will call the play beforehand, and then as they're getting ready to receive the football, they notice something about the defense. They call an audible. They switch things up as a response to what they see in front of them.
Absolutely. It gives us a little bit more time to change that. And you can see Corrine and Simone are also, and about every so often you will see, Corrine and Simone, they'll tend to stack kind of the common way where you're standing on the outside, but it is a lot easier to change the play when you need to in this position.
Corrine Carr goes back to that spinny backhand dink. She'll sometimes set around to use the forehand like that for that exact reason. Easier to generate a little more speed and a little more spin off that forehand side. Lays that ball nicely. Now, Sarah, we got a whole bunch of people watching us on Facebook.
Okay.
Seems right. They're listening to us. They're watching the interesting stuff in front of them. But this is a really great chance for all of you, if you're watching at home or wherever you're watching, to send us a little note. I'm sure you have more questions for Sarah than for me, but tell us where you're watching from, what you're enjoying. Morgan Evans came in, just joined the feed here. I'm sure Morgan's got some questions for us. And if you've got a question for Sarah about anything that's going on out here on the court, we'd love to answer them, even if you're just telling us where you're watching from. So far, we've had someone watching from Copenhagen.
Wow.
We've had someone watching from Homer, Alaska.
Wow.
We've had someone watching from an airplane
that works.
On their way to Florida.
Nice.
So we'd love to know where you're watching from. And
I see we're 13 minutes into this and 5-7. Still pretty tight game. A couple unforced errors on both sides. And, let's see, again, back into rhythm here. A lot of great control from both sides.
Tough defense on that side when that ball gets a little bit high for Jardim and Carr. The sun is...
That side where Simone and Corrine are on, that is the tougher side. I think most people have kind of decided that throughout the week, It's a lot brighter. That's a beautiful point. And that's what we were talking about a little while ago. You know, Catherine and Jessie both had some pretty strong forehand overheads, but Simone and Corrine were able to reset that ball, get back in there and win the point. And that's where it's such a show to how good defensively all 4 of these women are on the court.
8-5-2.
Got a question for you after this point, Sarah.
Great reset.
Corrine Carr continuing to be under pressure. She's used to it. Simone tries to put that ball away, but well defended by Parenteau as Irvine catches the net. So Sarah, you talked a little bit about stacking and how teams might set up on the return of serve or the serve to play on the sides they prefer. Let's say you're serving, and we look across the court, and our opponents, we know that they're stacking, both on the same side of the court, one returning from behind the baseline and the other one outside of the sideline on that same side of the court. What is the best way to respond to a stack? When you're the serving team and you look and they're both lined up on the same side, is there anything you can do kind of as a countermeasure against that kind of setup?
Well, I think it's really important in those positions is to make sure that that serve is nice and keeping them back a little bit more, especially into that corner, is really good. Sometimes people go for a little too much on their serve, but keeping that deep, making it more difficult for them to cross over into that open space is extremely important. And I know a lot of times the serving side will assume that open court is there for them to attack, and so being sure that when that return does come back, that they're not just forcing that, expecting that court to be open, but they are taking an extra second to kind of look, okay, where are they and how quick are they at responding? So is that open, or maybe is it down the middle shot really good? But it all comes down to that nice strong serve and return to how you're going to set that up properly.
Nice strong response on Parenteau and Irvine. They get the ball back, having been down game point. They've got some work to do here at 5-10-1 in this first game of the bronze medal final.
That's great consistency from Catherine. What I love to see on Catherine's side is she really uses her length. I mean, she's not very big. She's about
she uses as much length as she's got.
Yeah. And that's what gives her such great acceleration and control on that backhand, especially. She really extends very, very well, and she's very smooth with that, which is what's so important about that nice offensive dinking. And now, so at the beginning of the game, we saw a lot of cross-court exchanges between Corrine and Jessie, and now we're looking at Catherine and Corrine. But it's a lot to do with that cross-court dink right now. And a lot of times you'll see people, why aren't they hitting it down the line? I mean, it's wide open. And what Corrine and Catherine are both doing is really trying to keep that low and difficult to change direction on the ball. So when you're keeping that low, especially with that slice on the ball, it's
typically easier to maintain the direction
yes.
from which the ball came rather than changing it up.
Yeah, I always tell my students, very often you get what you give. So it's
a good life lesson.
Right, yeah. Karmically speaking. It's a fantastic exchange. Wow, look at that.
Karma is on the side of Jessie Irvine as she clips the top of the net. It dribbles over, and that's going to force a timeout coming from Simone Jardim and Corrine Carr. We're going to go to a quick timeout as well. We're going to be back in a moment. More Sarah Ansbury and Mark Renison live. Welcome back to Live at Nationals. If you're just joining us, you're watching a women's pro doubles match. This is a bronze medal match. The winner of it is going to be going to the gold medal match later on this afternoon. Mark Renison alongside Sarah Ansbury.
The Waters are waiting in the gold medal match. They've had a great couple days. Yeah, there's that angle right there coming from Jessie. Once you get that high ball, getting it off the court. And that's they were down 5-10, and now they're coming back to 9-10-1. It's a big point. It's a really good timeout from
9-10-1.
from Jardim and Carr. Oh, that's
There's
great
another
defense. And
point.
what Catherine did really well there is she took that up high. She didn't get stuck too low, so she was able to angle that ball down towards the feet of their opponents.
10-10-1. In these races to 11, you must win by 2 points.
Oh, it's a little forced error from Corrine. She really wanted to attack that. And
It's amazing how the pressure they apply early in a game can show itself later. And we've got a game point here.
11-10-1.
Jessie Irvine serving to Simone Jardim.
now this is really, I'd like to see this how this match turns out, because you have Corrine and Simone with so much experience with those two on that side of the court, and so when these big moments come up, that's going to take them a far way. As great as Catherine and Jessie are, they're a newer team, so they haven't played that many together. You can never count out experience when it comes out to here.
Another game point here. Catherine Parenteau serving and working cross-court against Corrine Carr. And with that, Catherine Parenteau, Jessie Irvine, they take game number 1, 12 points to 10. As these players go for a quick timeout, we're going to take a timeout as well. We'll be back in a second with game number 2 here live at Nationals. Mark Renison and Sarah Ansbury.
Match point, it's all up to me. Nothing can get in my way. And when they ask, what are you gonna do next? I'll say, I'm going. Oh.
We're going to Margaritaville! You can go to Margaritaville too. Visit MargaritavilleResorts.com.
Welcome back to Live at Nationals. We're here at the 2019 Margaritaville USA Pickleball National Championships in Indian Wells, California. You're watching a women's pro doubles match here. This is a bronze medal match. The winner will go to the gold medal to take on Lee and Annalie Waters later on this afternoon. The loser of this match is going to go home with $2,000 as a team.
It's not so bad.
No, that's the payout for the bronze. The silver, they'll take $3,000, and the gold medalist, that team will get $5,000.
It's a big first point, nice long exchange.
Hey, Sarah,
Hey, what's up, Mark?
did you know you can upgrade your pickleball game?
I'm betting there's a way. How
is
can
a
we
way.
do that?
You can upgrade your game with Head's lineup of performance pickleball bags.
It's not so bad.
They are designed specifically for pickleball players, even you.
Yeah.
Head offers a larger bag so that you can store multiple paddles, shoes, and other gear. They also offer backpacks and tote bags.
They do. I might have a few of those.
I bet you
Yeah.
do.
Actually, I got a backpack with me right here.
There you go. You can visit the Head Pen tent here at Indian Wells Tennis Garden to find a perfect bag to suit your needs.
We've got some pretty good looking Margaritaville bags and head bags. And I got to say, those Margaritaville ones, they look pretty cool.
That's true.
I wish I could play with some of those, but
Meanwhile, Simone Jardim's forehand goes a little bit wide, and the woman who had her birthday here just a couple days ago
0-0-2.
loses the serve. Corrine Carr takes over that responsibility, and I'm expecting that we're going to continue to see these cross-court exchanges between Carr and Parenteau.
yeah, I'm thinking a little bit. Look, what I really like about Catherine's cross court is that nice forehand.
Whoa.
She's able to extend into. Look at that, some big motivation there.
Nice example there. Good defense from Carr. Simone Jardim expecting most of the balls to continue to go her way. Simone slid over to the left to provide some support, as we see there the replay powered by Selkirk. Simone slid towards the center. Irvine picking up on that, knew there's some cross-court space available, and it's a nice angle for the put away. They get the ball back.
I think a lot of time people, they kind of get it stuck in when we isolate. Sometimes we over-isolate. And a lot of times
Whoa. I don't know what that means.
Over-isolate. So a lot of times when players are out there, I don't want to go to this player. They're trying to, they're trying to focus on. Yeah, they're picking on somebody.
Okay.
They want to go to one player, and they're trying to avoid one other player. And very often the best way to actually avoid someone is to hit it to them. Hit it behind them, make them open up the court a little bit more, and that'll actually enable you to pick on someone a little bit better.
I hate being picked on.
I know. Actually, I kind of don't mind it.
It's rough.
I feel like I could do a little bit more.
You don't mind it. If I could play Sarah like you could, I wouldn't mind being picked on either. But meanwhile, right now, Corrine Carr
Great
saying
offense.
that picking on her.
She's like, my ball.
Correct.
I'm going to make up for this.
So glad to have so many people watching from different parts of the world. Let's see who we got here. We got someone, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Hey, that's close to my
Not far from
hometown.
you
It's
are.
beautiful. Hello.
Yeah. And Burlington, Ontario, Canada, not far from my
A little
home.
closer to you.
There we
All
go.
right.
There we go. Revel Revity in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, Revel. I'm surprised she's not here.
Hood River, Oregon, checking in. Hilton Head, South Carolina. Ron Kenzie.
Hey, I know that guy. Hey, Ron Kenzie.
I bet you do.
It's a great guy. Sent me a little care package this weekend.
Hella Spar is in Mesa.
It's a great player right there.
Farmington, New Mexico.
Wow.
Wisconsin. I bet they're shoveling today.
Oh,
Al-
yeah, right. Look at that great defense.
It's into
Throw
the
that
sun.
love. Yeah, that's a difficult side right there, so it's going to be a little bit harder to get away from it. Great dig. A little bit high.
Into the sun again. Parenteau's going to let it drop just to make sure it lands in. It does, but now they're on defense.
Moving all the way around to take that forehand, crown that space, and see Corrine sliding out, allowing Simone to have room.
That ball goes just a little bit wide. Parenteau knew that she had it lined up.
And you see there's a little we popped it up a little bit high, but I mean, that just goes to show what great experience. You can never count either of these teams out. And this is something right here, Corrine's making a hydration break. It's very, very hot out, and a lot of people don't realize during these tournaments, hydration breaks are necessary and needed. And so you're just going to let the ref know it's not a regular timeout, which means you can't talk to anybody. You could talk to your teammate, but that's about it. It's for a water break specifically, and we need that out here.
Yeah, we had Michelle Esquivel earlier telling us about those hydration breaks, and the referees, you can see, are pretty observant here, making sure there's no chatting. This is not a timeout. Just grab a quick sip so everyone's healthy and happy. Speaking of being healthy and happy, Sarah.
All right. I feel like you got something for me.
Oh, I got a lot for you. Did you know that Aetna is here? They're in booth number 5, and if you go over to booth number 5 here at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, you can enter a drawing for a free Apple Watch.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
It's a good prize.
I'm pretty sure, I think they've got some free glasses to hand out too from when I've been walking by there. Sunglasses maybe?
Aetna is here for you to explore your options to find the right plan during this enrollment period for Medicare, including a new Medicare plan that includes unlimited acupuncture, chiropractic care, and dental coverage that allows you to see any dentist you want.
That's pretty good. Out here, some of that stuff is pretty helpful. Some acupuncture, some chiropractic.
No kidding.
Some of my favorite stuff.
Shout out to my wife, the chiropractor,
Hey.
as we see this nice topspin dinking going on off the forehand side of Parenteau. Jessie Irvine and Parenteau got their signals crossed there. Who is going to put away that? Now, what do you think? So here's a nice example, Sarah. I'm going to put you on the spot here. So on the one hand, you've got Parenteau. She got the forehand, high forehand, no problem. On the other hand, you got Jessie Irvine. Great two-handed backhand. Typically, the forehand will take those high balls. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
One, Jessie's backhand is so good. And two, she had just hit 2 or 3 of those reflex volleys in a row.
Yeah.
And so there's that balance between giving it to the forehand person, take it, or kind of letting the person who's doing the work sort of maintain that momentum.
Yeah.
What's your call on that one?
The momentum is super important, and I'm all for that backhand person taking it, especially if they're able to put that away. Sometimes, so what happened there, I mean, because that's what Jessie was looking for. She was looking for that momentum, but you could see when she was going for that last one, she just wasn't quite set up for it, and so she was slightly out of position. And that one, I think if Catherine would have finished that, it would have been a little bit better. However, very, very often when you've got that momentum, keep going. I'm rooting my partner on when they're going for that. I want them to keep finishing that point if they can, and if I can help, absolutely. I don't want to get in their way, that's for sure. And you have such, especially in the women's game, we have such powerful two-handed backhands now. And so a lot of those players prefer that side so they can come around that high two-handed swing volley.
Right now the score is 1-2-2. Catherine Parenteau setting up for that big forehand. Corrine Carr, one of the best defenders in the game, has no problem with it. And Jessie Irvine can't quite hang on. The score now is 2-1-1. Irvine Parenteau up 1-0 here in this women's pro bronze medal match.
Great defense. Now, and that's something, it seems, Corrine is so good at coming up and attacking that ball and disguising it well. She's such a short backswing. It's really great to see that, but it wasn't quite ready for the counter, and that's what I mean a little. I mentioned that earlier. Are you going to block it and defend, or are you going to counterattack? And Catherine did a phenomenal job of counterattacking that attack. Great crossover from Simone.
It's
really
a nice
trying to
attack of the body of Irvine.
Surprising. I don't think Jessie was ready for that one.
3-1-2.
That wind, you could feel it kind of picking up a little bit right now.
Oh, I thought that could have been around the post opportunity if Catherine had let that ball go a little wider.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the ball clips off the top of the net, really changes its trajectory and creates angles that otherwise wouldn't be there if the net didn't interfere. Score is 4-1-2 here. Corrine Carr to serve.
Yeah, a little high. She looks like she was looking for a little height in the last couple serves, and that breeze is picking up a little bit, and that just carried it out. It's kind of a rare miss from Corrine, I would say.
1-4-2. 1-4-1.
Just a missed call of the score.
1-4-1.
There's that offensive firepower from Jessie Irvine, both on the forehand and backhand side. Corrine did her best to back up and buy herself a little more time, but Jessie's so good at finding that spot. So right at the old shoelaces.
Yeah, it's a very powerful place for Jessie, and it's definitely a great spot. And Corrine, she did a good job trying to open up the court, but just again wasn't quite ready for the counterattack.
Catherine Parenteau has to get that ball down.
Absolutely.
She's not happy with her paddle. That was the problem.
It must have been the paddle.
Paddle not behaving.
We all
the way
have those
that she
issues.
2-4-2.
2-4-2 is the score. Parenteau with the delivery to Jardim. And that's pretty much the only ball Simone's going to see. Unless all of a sudden, there we go, they change things up. Nice counterattack from Corrine.
Yeah.
That's it. Sarah, is it? I mean, so we saw, early on the strategy, and it seems to work. They won the first game 12-10 for Parenteau and Irvine to go at Corrine. And if Corrine can start withstanding the pressure like that, the way that we saw, a nice counterattack, got to think that influences Irvine and Parenteau. They say, hey, wait a second, our strategy's not working as well anymore. And all of a sudden, it's going to be a little bit disconcerting for them.
Look at that. Great. It's great movement, and I love to see Corrine do that when she starts to be aggressive on that. And that is, I think, a little bit, we're in game 2. That means, there could be a game 3. And I think that's what they're looking for right now. And I think you're absolutely right. Once Corrine is able to kind of pull that ball down and handle some of those counterattacks, maybe be a little bit more aggressive on her ball and just keep it down. She's just kind of going a little bit high on some of these balls, but I wouldn't be surprised if Corrine's able to figure that problem out. Get a little rare miss, good timeout right there. A little frustration, that works.
Yeah, while we go to a timeout, we'll talk about some of the other people who are watching. Someone, Raphael
Siebenschein.
Who's that?
I don't know, some guy.
Some guy.
Yeah.
I hear. Like through the grapevine, I hear he has a crush on Corrine Carr.
I think he might.
Raph, of course, is Corrine's husband. He's watching. Let's see, who else we got here? Oh, we got someone watching from Barcelona.
Wow, that's fantastic.
That's fun. Juno Beach, Florida. Looks like
that pickleball down there.
Yep. Ladera Ranch, California. Samche Moyes watching from there. Ooh, Albufeira, Portugal.
Wow,
Ever been to
Portugal. I have not. I have not talked to anybody from Portugal about pickleball. I like
I
that.
wonder what the pickleball scene's like there.
I'd be curious.
Tell us about it.
Absolutely, we'd love to hear.
John Evans watching from Alberta, Canada.
There we go, another Canadian here.
Karen is in Delray Beach. Beautiful place.
Beautiful pickleball.
Hashtag Heart Team Waters.
Oh, I'm thinking, yeah.
Fairbanks, Alaska, pretty much as far away as possible as you can
I
get
would
from
think
Delray
so.
Beach,
I
Florida.
haven't quite been there before, but I hear the pickleball is working up there.
Yeah.
Okay, time is in.
And last one before we go back to the game, Joanna Stover, Alexandria, Virginia.
All right, that's kind of close to me, not too far.
She wants to know who's coming up. Joanna, head over to pickleballtournaments.com. You can see all the draws, and we're going to be talking about the matches coming up shortly. We've got a great men's bronze medal match coming up after this.
Looking forward to that one.
Back to the action. That ball is just a little bit long.
Oh, very smart move. I like that changeup. Corinne's got a beautiful lob off that dink, and I think that's a smart thing to do. It's just that wind is right behind it, so they're going to have to make some adjustments if they keep doing that. I'd say, that's something I was referring to earlier. It is difficult to take that hard cross-court exchange and redirect it down the line, and there Jessie's waiting for that. She's looking for Corrine to attack that ball, and I think a little impatience from Corrine. I think didn't really need to go that soon. There's a little miscommunication, but they picked it up. I think Corrine was expecting Simone to take that forehand, but she was able to come in and take that two-handed backhand. And changing up their stack a little bit.
.360 from Jardim as she goes into a cross-court exchange with Corrine. Got to think that she's feeling the pressure that when she does finally get her paddle on the...
That's a phenomenal point. Oh.
Called wide by Parenteau. Jardim and Carr can take an extra long look at that one.
Yeah. That's a tough angle to see. I think they got the point for that one. I think they called it out. That was the rolling. I couldn't quite see it.
5-4-2.
Great hands on both sides. Oh, big point. I do think this changeup is a smart decision right now, putting Corrine on the other side of the court, just changing up the look. Catherine's, doing well. They're going back to that cross court again. That's a good one, and I think that's a little bit of change of rhythm. Corrine's taking that drop, and Simone is looking to cross on that, making the point 5-5-1 with Simone to serve.
5-5-1.
5-5-1 is the score, just like game number one. This is tight here in game number two. Sarah, I think you were right that this is going to be a close contest here. After this point, I'm going to give an etiquette tip.
All right,
to all the
I like
fans
that.
out
I'm
there.
all for
okay,
that.
Here's my etiquette tip.
Okay.
If you are out there enjoying pickleball matches, especially when the pros are playing, but for amateurs alike,
5-5-2.
it's usually a good idea to wait between points when they end before you walk across the back of the court. Because even though you feel like you're far away from the action, the players who are involved in it, they're looking at the ball or they're looking up at their opponents, but peripherally they're going to see what's ever behind them. And so, players are used to having lots of action here. We see the VIP section behind, but those people are sitting down. And so whether you're at here at the Nationals or you're at your local park, if you see people playing and you want to cross a court, even if there's a fence behind them, the nice way, the considerate way to do it is to wait till that point ends and then take your little stroll across.
There you go.
And sometimes there's an emergency, but...
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think people don't always realize how much... a little eye here can kind of catch you off a little. Look at that. That's a great move
Simone
again.
Jardim, nothing distracting her there as she crosses over the middle to rip that two-handed backhand.
And it looks like, Corrine's almost drawing the ball to her. She's staggering back a little bit, allowing Simone to kind of come in, creating some separation. And they're saying, keep hitting it to me. Keep hitting it to Corrine. And so then it's allowing Simone to cross in front of her and set up that point.
7-5-2.
That's, yeah.
We saw one fan here who literally had a cushion attached to his backside.
He's not losing it.
I mean, that is one way to make sure your seat's comfortable.
Absolutely.
No matter where you're watching. Meanwhile, that was a comfortable forehand pass there by Corrine Carr. A lot of topspin, and we've talked, Sarah, about how valuable that forehand hip is as a target when you're speeding things up.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people, when they're playing, especially amateur players, the importance of rotation coming around and you know, look at that acceleration that you get from coming around the ball with that right hip. And there's the side out. That's going to be, looks like Jessie Irvine to serve at 5-8-1. Oh, it's like just a little mistiming from Corrine.
Oh, that's a slippery little slice.
Yeah. And just caught her going a little bit too far.
Simone appreciates that. So there's a good example of how patterns that you establish early on in a match, changing up those patterns later on can actually pay dividends. And
Absolutely.
so we saw that so much of this has been going on that diagonal. Jessie Irvine to Corrine Carr. And
that's something that,
so Simone was looking for that cross score continue. It opened up the down the line.
And that is something, you know, we talked about earlier, the importance of communicating strategies. That's something that people think about, you know, waiting to use that shot at a later point in the game when they've established a pattern already. Look at that. That's a great example. So Corrine is working that corner again, really trying to accelerate that forehand, and then it's either going to go to Corine's forehand or Simone's backhand, which both beautiful weapons, and getting them the ball back where they're serving at 8-7-1.
8-7-1.
Jessie Irvine's so quick off that line to get that little dribbler. Corrine, ooh.
Yeah, a little frustration from Catherine that she wants that ball back. She wants that high forehand. I know those moments. We all have those moments.
9-7-1. Second serve.
It's a little rare miss again, from a little frustration from both players.
9-7-2.
Another net cord. You're seeing a lot of these net cords with this net out here.
Side out. Seven,
7-9-1, Jessie Irvine serving. They'd love to not have to take this to a third game, but the way things are going right now,
It's quite possible.
I would almost say likely.
Yeah. That's a
That ball
great
goes
lead.
just wide. Catherine Parenteau getting frustrated out there.
Really good
Usually,
pressure from Corrine.
You know, in the past, Sarah, when I've seen Catherine, you're right, she's a fiery player. She wears her heart on her sleeve a little bit. But what I've noticed before is that when she does seem to get a little bit frustrated, she's able to kind of calm herself and get back into it. But we've seen a few points here, and I don't know whether it's the sun in her face or just the pressure of this match that she feels, at least this game may be slipping away. Is that frustration seems to sort of be carrying over from one point to another more than I'm used to seeing from her.
Yeah, and that's something she definitely doesn't want to overcome. I mean, she doesn't want to take her over. There you go. So that's her being able to turn it around and use it to her advantage. And you know, a lot of players out here, you know, sometimes we need to get a little fired up so that we can get motivated. And Catherine, you know, when she's able to turn it around, she can be dangerous.
She speeds it up even though she's on a little bit of a reach, and all of a sudden they've drawn even here in the second game, 9-9-2. And if Jardim and Carr aren't careful, that lead they had, which made it likely to go to a third game,
they're going to want this point right
that
here.
ball sits up high off the top of the net. It goes out, and all of a sudden, Sarah Ansbury.
Good timeout. I was
We have a
expecting that
match
one.
point.
Third 1 minute.
We're going to stay with this. We
Yeah.
typically do during the timeouts that are close to match point.
And that's just a couple of points right there that really just didn't go Corrine and Simone's way. A couple of net courts, a couple of mishits, something unexpected to happen. And what's great about Catherine and Jessie is they're not giving up. They want to keep fighting. They want to press this, but really important timeout from Simone and Corrine to see if they can get this serve back, which is really what they need right now.
Some great action coming up after this match. We're going to see a men's bronze medal match.
Who do we got in that match?
I will tell you. We've got Mr. Steve Deacon.
Wow, great player, Canadian.
Shout out Canada, along with Eric Lang.
I have some from my hometown, a head player on my team. Great guy, big guy.
Yep, speaking of big guys, they're going to take on Andre Deschu
Yeah, definitely not small.
and Laika.
Yeah, the biggest guy in the game, I guess.
I think it's fair to say we got some powerhouses coming up on the men's side right after this live at Nationals. Meanwhile, right now we've got a match point here. Jessie Irvine and Catherine Parenteau serving to Simone Jardim. Whoa.
Wow, that's a big deal right there. Catherine is not happy. But, let's see if she could shake it off. She went for the paddle tap, didn't quit the paddle tap. So hopefully they can turn this around, but let's see.
Do we call that a good timeout by Simone?
I think so, yeah. And that's where a little experience comes in help.
Oh, she's dangerously close to that baseline.
Yeah, she's going for it. And
Carr resets. She's up at the net again, all of a sudden neutralizing the advantage of Parenteau and Irvine. Gotta wonder whether Simone and Corrine start to target Catherine a little bit after that
I think that might be a smart
mental
decision.
mistake.
Look at that. There's that lob up in the sun, and that's where that side is. And this is where this experience is so important. I mean, Corrine and Simone have been here plenty of times.
Corrine and Simone can't believe they're still in this match.
I know, right? I think they're both a little struggling right now. They're like, well, that worked out.
But I think there's going to be a timeout here if Simone Jardim and Corrine can.
Yeah, and that that's Jessie able to turn around and take her. What I like about that is she didn't rush that. She made sure she was going to get that correctly, especially if they're a high miss. And 10-10-2 right here.
10-2.
That's a
Jessie
very good
Irvine
shot. Unexpected, I think.
Finds the hole. I don't know if we've seen that shot. The ball was very low.
Yeah.
It's hit with just enough topspin that it stays down.
And Jessie's so long. She's really good length into that non-volley zone.
10-10-1 is the score.
At least a little less pressure for Simone and Corrine. See if they can hold them. That's a good leave. That could have gone either way.
Just wide. Corrine Carr, so good at knowing which balls to let go. She holds up her finger, says, just this
A little
much
bit.
out.
With a smile, of course. Yeah. Corrine's probably the most positive player out there.
Jessie Irvine, Catherine Parenteau.
Serving at 10-10-2.
10-2.
Trying to get ahead by one here. They're up. Ooh, a drop, a bit of a miscommunication between Simone and Corrine. One of the first we've seen today. Jessie
Now there's
Irvine.
that's a huge point. Corrine's getting that step around, and that's a little bit of a timing thing, and that's I think a lot of times people want to hit that winner and they want to hit it as hard as they can. Corrine did a really good job at holding her paddle for a second before she got it, and that just messed up Jessie's timing. She read it right, just the wrong time. Oh wow, look at that. That's it's just a little bad luck on this side. 10-10-2, Corrine serving to Jessie. Now that's a little unexpected. Corrine's changing up that pace a little bit. She had 3 drives in a row. What she's been doing is she's been driving one and then resetting the 5th, but I like that pattern that she just did. Changed it up, put some pressure on Catherine.
Speaking of pressure, 11-10-2 here. Jardim and Carr looking to send this to a third game. Oh, I thought Jessie could have attacked at Simone's feet.
I agree. I think she could have redirected it behind her.
Is that what you mean by the over-isolation?
I think so. Yeah.
There it is.
Now, see, that's a little experience from Catherine. Catherine's been in this moment a few more times, so she's able to redirect that ball behind Simone, which is the smart shot. And now they're going to get that serve back, and they get another chance to get back in this game.
10-11-1.
Irvine continuing to work on Corrine, Carr, but they have to be so close to that line. Oof.
Yeah.
Speaking of close to the line, Jessie Irvine finds the spot.
Yep.
And Simone Jardim can't quite get the forehand drop to reset the point. We're again locked at 11. Reminder, this is a win by 2 game here in this women's bronze medal match. The winner is going to gold. Corrine.
Some great defense. Like that's a big, I mean, that just goes to show you how well Corrine performs under pressure as well. She's not going to play it safe. She's going to keep the pressure up, which is what they need to do right now. Yeah, that's good pressure. And again, that's what I'm talking about again is Corrine's, she sees the shot, but she holds it for a second, and Catherine just kind of mistimes it. She reads it correctly, but it's that little off-pace ball that gives them the ball back into their service.
11-11-1.
Corrine Carr serving from the right. We see Jessie on the right for now, but they're going to switch. And again, it looks to me, Sarah, like Catherine's being a little bit hesitant out there. Here come those lobs again. We saw Irvine missed one. Now she missed another.
The other one. And I mean, I've been on the other side of that where they just keep tossing up lobs into that sun. And I mean, I've been in points where I've hit 15 overheads back. and that's what they're good at. They're very good at resetting that. They know where to hit that ball.
12-11-1. This is a game point here for Jardim and Carr.
On a little bit of a misstep on that third shot.
I mean, Simone hasn't hit a lot of third shots today. And
Corrine's been dialing them in. And
12-11.
she got another shot at this game right here. It's a great angle on that, really pulling Jessie out of that middle.
But not wide enough to open up the around the post. She's going to attack here,
Look
and there
at that.
she does it.
That's beautiful.
Uses that forehand, just enough spin. This one's going the distance, folks, as Jardim and Carr take game number 2, 13-11. We're going to be back in a minute for the conclusion of this match. Mark Renison, Sarah Ansbury here, live at National. Stay close.
Yeah, let's hear it for these 2 teams out here. We got a...
Time is in for game number 3, and we will...
Welcome back to Live at Nationals here at Championship Court at the 2019 Margaritaville USA Pickleball Nationals. We're here in Indian Wells, California, and you see, Sarah, some of the fans here in the stands treated to such a great match here over the lunch hour. They've been sitting in their seats. They rushed out to go get some delicious food here from the different food and beverage options at the Margaritaville establishments.
You have that pizza out there? It's pretty good.
Oh, I've had some from Your Pie. That's been delicious.
And that's it's owned by a player. One of our players owns a local restaurant. Scott Burr, yeah.
Here in Indio, California. Jessie Irvine can't catch up with that. She's playing big defense here as Jardim and Carr fight off the sun. Look at that 360 backhand overhead.
The crowd's gonna, oh wow. And that's the first
of that. That's the first
point of the third game. 56 minutes in. I think that point itself,
What a point here as we look at the replay powered by Selkirk. This is pro pickleball at its best, and Everyone in the house here practically on their feet, showing these women
Great appreciation. Now, I don't envy those legs right now. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Simone and Corrine are a little bit older than the team on the other side, and Catherine and Jessie got some younger legs on their side. So, kudos to everybody on the court for that beautiful, beautiful defense.
Simone and Corrine do come up with the goods. They've got to be careful here not to be overexcited on this next point, which sometimes can happen when you play a great point. You then play a loose point after. They've got to be disciplined here to keep applying the pressure and hold on to the ball.
A little bit high, and I think that's good control coming from Jessie Irvine. She didn't overhit that. She just kind of a mid-pace right to the feet. Corinne's a little spread out. It's a good placement.
0-1-1.
Score 0-1-1 here. This bronze medal match, the winner will be going for gold. And Jessie Irvine gets handcuffed again there on that forehand hip side. It's a good spot to go when you're speeding things up. Not such a good spot to go if it's a high ball.
This is true. Some great defense.
If you're enjoying this coverage here for 2019 Margaritaville USA Pickleball Nationals, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you know what? You can even share it. You can share it with your pickleball friends, your pickleball clubs. Maybe you even know some people, I mean, if they're still out there, some people who aren't familiar with pickleball. Why not share this live stream with them? They can see all the great action as well. And you know what? I bet you only a few minutes of watching these women out here will convert even the skeptics.
Absolutely. I think we always hear, you play pickleball? Get surprised with how young the crowd can be.
You know what? We got someone watching on the stream right now.
Who do we got watching?
Someone by the name of Lee Waters.
Lee Waters. I bet she's interested in these results.
I think so. You know what I bet she's also happy about?
What's that?
This is going 3 games.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's out there resting, looking forward to this. And I mean, I got to say, Lee played phenomenal yesterday. I bet they were looking forward to playing that. That's one thing when you split the day into two. A lot of times we get used to that momentum. We're playing so well all day, and we want to play that final. We want to play for that gold, and then we got to wait till the next day. And so, but with how big the draws are getting, we're looking at spreading these out a little bit more. But I'm definitely looking forward to being out here. 4 o'clock, I think, is when the women's final scheduled, and we'll be back in the booth for the women's final with the Waters.
2-2-2.
There we go, and we saw Simone Jardim guarding down the line. Corrine Carr went a little bit to her left to guard against the out wide angle, and Catherine said, hey, I know where to hit this ball. Just smack it right up the center of the court.
You look at some of these matches, so we got 12-10 in the first, 13-11 in the second, we're 2-2. And, what's so amazing about all these teams when we see out there playing, if we play this match 10 times, I'd like to see how often it goes to one versus the other. It's such close competition now. It's so great to see so many high-quality teams out here playing in the Nationals.
As that ball catches off the top of the net.
And that's
good decision.
Yeah, very smart. That's something that Simone does really well. She likes that little shortcut, pulls them off, and doesn't miss it very often, that's for sure.
Yes. 3-2-1.
3-2-1 is the score here. Quickly out as we hit the 1 hour mark. Irvine Parenteau fighting hard here.
Neither team giving up. Still fighting quite a bit, which is great. Little change up. This kind of looks a little bit like game one, really getting low under those balls. I think we saw a few of these points in the first game. Great control.
Interesting there. And gotta wonder We haven't seen a lot of forehand attacks from Parenteau against Simone Jardim, and the time that ball got popped up, and as you said earlier, Sarah, that first shot isn't usually about winning the point, it's about setting up an opportunity, and it worked there for Parenteau. So I gotta wonder whether she thinks, hey, maybe there's a chance to get a few more points using that tactic of speeding things up at Simone's backhand after an extended dinking rally. I mean, it's risky. You're playing with fire if you're going to that Jardim backhand.
And it's definitely about that. And like you said, it's that second or third ball. It's not expecting to win on the first one.
Whoops.
Catherine almost doing the splits, getting that ball.
Catherine said, you know what? The first 8 didn't work.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Oh. Jessie gets one ball there and tries to reset it, and just a little bit short. Little disappointing, you could see from both their body language, and let's see if they can kind of turn it around and get off of 4 here. I mean, they're up 4-2-2, so good start for them in the second game. Third game, sorry about that.
Yeah, I know. It's
and Corrine getting stuck. Yeah, she just got a little stuck. It is really important when you're getting those balls that you're lifting the ball with the body and not getting stuck, staying down, especially that close to the net. And that's something that Catherine does really well on those little balls as well, and they all do it very well. But it's really nice to see. Oh, that's
the slowest winner of the tournament right there.
That was just complete miscommunication, I think, and a little bit of being tired. It kind of looks like they're a little tired.
Yeah.
And so, again, changing over again on the switch at 6. Again, they're not able to do coaching here. It's most going to be about hydration, a little bit of a break for them. And
Sarah,
what's up, Mark?
Did you know that you should grow older, but not up?
I feel like I've heard that somewhere before.
It's true. Latitude Margaritaville is the new portfolio of active adult communities offering resort-style amenities that embody the tropical escapism Margaritaville is known for. You can head to their booth to find out more.
They got some pretty cool stuff over there. They got some hats and stickers, and it's a little lounge over there. It's pretty comfortable.
Yeah, pretty nice over there. It's nicer than my living room.
Oh, man, yeah. I would say it's probably nicer than mine, too. Got some cool stuff over there. Got some cool pillows. I like the pillows. I was thinking about taking one of those home.
Right now,
got a lead for 6-2 on the changeover. A little confusion, trying to figure out. They definitely don't want to serve on the wrong side right now.
Score is 6-2-2.
Score is 6-2-2. Catherine Parenteau, the Canadian, serving to Simone Jardim as Parenteau accelerates on that backhand side. And
fantastic
I love it. It's such a she says has such a distinctive fist pump. It's small, it's tiny.
It's a tiny one.
It's quick.
Yeah, she gets into it, yeah.
7-2-2 is the score here. Parenteau continues to use that spin. Jessie Irvine content to slip in a little backspin drop, and
got quite the lead here in this second. All of a sudden, yeah, it just came out of nowhere. They just got all of a sudden. I mean, I think it was 2-3 a minute ago.
8-2-2.
8-2-2.
They really got to get that changeover right now. I think Corrine's going to be a little more focused on making these shots. Be a little more patient, probably. Jessie kind of sliding in, just put a little bit more pressure. It's a beautiful reset.
Oh, there we go. So it looked like initially that Parenteau, as we look at the replay here, powered by Selkirk, looked initially she was going to take it as a backhand, changed her mind, and that little moment of indecision cost her the rally. Side out 2-8-1. Jardim and Carr trying to hang close here in this third and deciding game. Bronze medal on the line.
Definitely not counting them out. Yeah. And a little surprising on that one. I think the last point they won because Corrine was patient and consistent. She pulled that trigger trying to force something, and Jessie was ready for it. She's like, come on, hit it to me. I'm ready.
Wesley Gabrielson checks in. Excited to announce that he's going to be joining us a little bit later here.
Not a bad choice.
He knows a thing or two about pickleball.
Maybe.
And right there, Catherine and Jessie knew that ball had eyes for the green part of the court. We're not talking about the kitchen. They let that ball go wisely, and all of a sudden, 8-2-1, Irvine and Parenteau in control as Jardim and Carr try to figure out how to stop this train.
We're an hour and 6 minutes into this. So they've been out there for a while. It's pretty hot out there. It's pretty grinding on the body.
So exactly 90 degrees Fahrenheit out there.
Which means on those courts,
it's even hotter.
It's even hotter, especially out here.
I wonder how long it would take to fry an egg out there.
Probably not as long as we think.
Right now, 9-2-1. Catherine Parenteau uses that topspin drop. Corrine Carr has no problem with it, and got to think that was a decision-making error. Not a lot of good reasons right there for Catherine to play that backhand down the line to the shortest part of the court and the highest part of the net. Good thing for them, they've got a second serve to work with.
Yeah, they got a little bit of room. Let's face it.
Now she goes
9-2,
back
but
to the cross court.
Yeah, and that's gives a little more time for them. Higher percentage shot. That's a great lead.
Once again. Such an important skill, especially at this elite level where balls are getting faster, not slower, is knowing which balls not to hit. So.
Yeah, and that happens quite a bit. You can see how long they take their time with that. They're keeping their paddles out in front, so they have the ability to change. Yeah, I mean, Simone's just going for a little too much. She's really trying to put the pressure on, and both Catherine and Jessie were stable. They were balanced on the line, and she was ready for it and hit that winner right behind Simone.
2-9-2.
2-9-2, Corrine Carr sending it to the Parenteau forehand. Simone Jardim
making
comes
up for
out.
that last one.
Yep, she comes out on the right end of that quick reflex volley exchange.
That's a big point. I know they really wanted to get off a 2. They really needed to get off a 2 if they wanted a chance to stay in this match. Especially mentally, that's really going to take a toll, and they got to start doing something. Where they got to change something a little bit to start applying some pressure. Those are a little bit high.
There we go, and that attack at Corrine, her body was moving to the left, but the ball was going to her right. You can see here on the replay powered by Selkirk, a little bit off balance on that one, and that ball finds the net. 9-3-1, Jessie Irvine
9-3-1
to serve.
They changed that lineup. Now they're putting Corrine in front of Catherine, making her make that lower percentage drop shot.
That's a high percentage overhead.
Absolutely.
Simone Jardim with the right foot kick save, but that's not going to be enough. Right now,
So
we've got a match point here for Jessie Irvine and Catherine Parenteau.
I'm a little surprised they didn't call a timeout. I mean, that could really make some adjustment, but they're just not going to do it. So let's see what happens here. That ball kind of went up that middle. Could have kind of surprised Simone didn't take that as a backhand.
And this could be it.
She knew it. She knew it when she hit it. She popped up. She got a little bit too low. She got caught on her heels.
Jessie Irvine, the woman in salmon.
Yep.
She puts away that high forehand, and they have booked their spot in the gold medal match coming up later. Here in this women's doubles pro bronze, Corrine Carr, Simone Jardim, they're going to have to settle for bronze, which Sarah, I'm pretty sure is not what is going to satisfy them.
Yeah, it never does, right?
Never does. I wouldn't know.
But that's really exciting for Catherine and Jessie. Jessie, this is her first. I think it was her first nationals. Catherine got bronze last year, so I know she really wanted to get off that, and she's playing phenomenal. I'm really, really looking forward to the finals this afternoon with the Waters.
Well, you're going to see that finals a little bit later. The women are scheduled to go at 4 o'clock Pacific time. That's 3 o'clock in the East. We're going to see that match coming up later. Right now, Ed and Leica, Andre Descu taking on Ben Johns Cal Yates. That's coming up soon. Stay close. We're going to let these players come off and new players come on. We'll be back in a few minutes. Mark Renison for Sarah Ansbury live at Nationals.
That was an old